I was 25 years of age. I'm going back now to 1959. I was newly married. Myself and my young wife had arrived in London with a view to go to Australia, and I was fortunate enough to get a job in the Savoy Hotel. It had its own printing department, which just served the interests of the hotel. The only Irishman in the printing section amongst the 13 printers, and as a result they called me Paddy the Irish Wop. I was the youngest member of the department, and I have to say they were great workmates. The only thing I thought was our overseer, old Charlie Pink was the foreman's name, but it was a rather, as I thought then, a taciturn, really grumpy. I thought a bit cold or a bit aloof, and he was a stickler for punctuality. Okay lads, tea break over, back to work, as he'd call from the little desk area where he was, and I kept a bit out of his way most of that time. And when our daughter was born, and I was an hour late coming in because I'd phoned the hospital to find out how Mary got on, and she'd had a Susan in the small hours of the morning, a lovely baby girl, and everything was healthy and so on. And she was the first grandchild in both families, and that delayed me. When I got in late, it was an hour, and Mr. Charlie Pink, the overseer, called me, "You're right, Paddy," and I explained the situation to him. And he said, "I see." And then a couple of hours later, he called me up to his desk and he said, "Do you know the visiting times at the hospital?" And I said, "No." And he said, "The visiting hours are from, you can get the tube station from Covent Garden." And he said, "You go on beyond that and you go there and you get in." And he'd worked it all out. And he said, "So you can finish at 3 o'clock and go to your missus," he says, "and make sure you bring in a bunch of flowers." And he said, "Where you'll get the flowers is, you're going up the Covent Garden station, and now the second stall holder from the station, you go there and you buy her flowers from here. She'll give you a good deal." Which I did. And I went to the lady, when I began to say, "I want a bunch of flowers to bring." "And what's the occasion?" And when I told her, she said, "Oh, you're Mr. Pink's boy from the Savoy Hotel, are you?" And I said, "Yeah." "Oh, congratulations, I believe you just become a father. Here's the flowers." And she had a massive bouquet. And I said, "Oh no, I couldn't afford that." "That's all right," she says, "don't you know worry. Mr. Pink has looked after that." "Oh," I said. So I went on to the hospital, saw Mary and her beautiful new daughter, and they were all well, thank God. And my wife had the biggest bouquet of flowers in the whole world, massive. And when I went back to work the next day, I went up to Mr. Pink. I think he said it to me, "Do you bring the flowers to your missus?" And I said, "Yes, Mr. Pink, and what do I owe you for them?" And I was thinking, this is going to cost me about 5 shillings out of my wages for the next 4 or 5 weeks. "You don't owe me anything, Paddy." And I said, "But yeah, that's okay. Just go back to your machine now and get..." And as I was walking away, his hand suddenly shot out and put it on his shoulder, and he says, "Always wanted to do that," he says. "The late Mrs. Pink and I never had no children." Out of his generosity, Mary had the biggest bunch of flowers in there. It just affected me so much that, what I thought was this gruff old-timer had such warmth and feeling. So I always say, God bless your memory, Mr. Pink, and all my good Cockney pals there. Really did affect me just that day, and there was such a warmth about him when he said that, the word.